Hey y'all, what's up? What you reading? I'm Jennifer and this is Plot Twist. Hey, have you ever bought a book and you were so jazzed about the content inside, and as you were reading the book, you were just motivated and inspired and you're thinking, I'm gonna do something with this, and within a few days of finishing the book, you've forgotten all about the content that was in the book. Even a couple years later, you were asked if you'd read the book. Somebody's like, hey, have you read this killer book by so-and-so? And you were like, oh man, I don't know, I don't remember, right? So at the time, it was super impactful, and then within a few days you've forgotten about it, and then within a few years you don't even remember that you read the book, right? So here, that's what we're here to do, really, is to take concepts from best-selling books and apply them to our daily lives, figure out ways to actually make them actionable, right? So this is a perfect example. This is Start Something That Matters by Blake Mycoskie, and he's the guy behind Tom's Shoes. So the Tom story is really cool, and I think you should get the book and read it, because he's got all kinds of tips about how to start a business that matters. So does anybody know what TOMS stands for? All right, that's a little bit of trivia, and we'll get to that at the end here. So the cool thing about Blake's story is that he took a little time off from some of his other businesses that he had started. He's just an entrepreneur, right? He figures stuff out. So he went down to Argentina in 2006, and he witnessed just abject poverty, right? Like people, little children without shoes on their feet. And the people that were wearing shoes were wearing this sort of moccasin style canvas shoe. And the problem with not having shoes in a country like that is that you are prone to diseases. And he just was struck by the idea that these little kids are trying to get to school and get to different places and have no shoes to wear, and there's that's a huge problem down there. So what he decides is, I'm going to figure out a way to get shoes on these kids, right? So anyway, it turns into a business, and he describes all the different things that he goes through, and I think it's really fascinating. The book was published in 2011, but I think it's still really relevant about how to get a business off the ground, how to get resources, how to work through your fear, how to tell your story. Like he's got a million things in here that are awesome. But the two things that I would leave you with in terms of applying the content from this book to your daily life is, one, figure out what matters to you. And here's the best way to do that, in my opinion. Go through your work day or your entire day, and then sit down at the end of the day and act as a reporter and write down everything that you did that day, and see if you can pull out, really look at yourself objectively and say, if I were to be reporting on this person's life, what would I write down that I believe matters to that person? And if you do that over the course of a few days or a few weeks, and you really start to observe your own behavior, these themes of what really matters to you will come out. And I think a lot of people would say, hey Jennifer, I gotta make money, right? I gotta earn a living. Yep, we all definitely have to do that. That's a huge priority. Hey Jennifer, I have to take care of my family. Yes, I have to do that too. Absolutely, yes. But what are the things that you do in your downtime that really matter to you? What are those things? And so I think acting as an objective observer is one way to do that. The second thing that you can do in terms of pulling a concept from this book is connecting what matters to you to what matters to somebody else. So if you're super passionate about what matters to you, find an audience for that. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're a maker or creator, what you want to do is connect what matters to you and connect that to what matters to somebody else. So that's what Blake Mycoskie did. He was struck by this need, and his passion was entrepreneurship, and he figured out a way to solve that problem. So back to the bit of trivia, does anybody know what TOMS stands for? TOMS stands for tomorrow, and the concept is, buy a pair of shoes today, and we will give a free pair of shoes to a child in need tomorrow. I love it. That's the connection right there. Anyway, Blake Mycoskie, Start Something That Matters. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time on Plot Twist.